The investigation Thorne had worked on back then had left him in hospital with serious injuries, but now, hearing that characteristically generous greeting and seeing Christine Treasure grinning at him, the horrific memories of those occasions when they had shared a patrol car made a gunshot wound seem like a minor inconvenience. Treasure, rampant at the wheel of what she called the fanny magnet. The bad impressions and the heavy metal sing-alongs, the championship-level farting, the sexually explicit monologues that would inevitably follow a sighting of anything with 2 legs and tits, and which made Donald Trump seem positively sensitive in his appreciation of the female form. Now, displaying a turn of speed that was rarely seen off-duty, Treasure bounded across the squad room and threw her arms around him. An officer nearby looked up from his newspaper and whistled. The radio and stab vest and a belt adorned with baton, cuffs and mace ensured that it was not the most comfortable embrace Thorne had ever been pulled into, but it felt good nonetheless. "What the hell are you doing here?" Thorne asked. "Nice to know you've missed me." The last time he'd seen her, Treasure's dyed blonde hair had been short and teased into spikes. Now it was longer and swept back. She saw Thorne clock the new look and smiled. "Going for the 50s matinee idol thing," she said. "The ladies love it." "Well, you've always been idle, certainly." The punch on his arm was a painful reminder that she was not someone to mess with. He remembered the straight jab that had laid out a drunk who'd been foolish enough to take a swing at her in Catford's shopping precinct. "Seriously, though," he said, "long way from Lewisham." She led him back into the tea room and flicked the kettle on. The smell of what was no more than a glorified cupboard took him back again to those few uncomfortable months of demotion when he'd been one of the lids. "You were always talking about how great it was up here," she said, "so I thought I'd see what you were banging on about." "I was right, wasn't I?" "Yeah, I suppose." She threw her belt down on the table and undid the vest. Just after lunch, and she was clearly coming off the early shift. Slightly better class of shit, I'll give you that. The shit. Treasure's decidedly un-PC collective term for any and all offenders who had the audacity to cross her path and give her paperwork to do. Drunk drivers, thieves, rapists. She despised them all equally. Plus, my girlfriend lives in Tufnell Park, so it's handy, you know? She grinned again, the gap between her front teeth making her look deceptively girlish. I should say wife-to-be. She held out a hand to show Thorne the ring and waggled her fingers like a princess. "Getting married in a couple of months." "Congratulations," Thorne said. "I went to her fitness class and proposed over the PA. Good, eh?" "Classier than I would have expected." "You want to come?" "Do I have to wear a hat?" "You can wear a fucking tutu for all I care." She picked up a mug and raised it. "Want one?" "I should probably crack on." Thorne looked at his watch. He was already 20 minutes late for his appointment. He also needed to pop into the flat to check out a possible damp issue, and there was that takeaway to pick up. Treasure mashed her tea. "You here to see Uncle Fester, yeah?" "The cat thing? You involved with that?" "I'm involved in everything, mate, one way or another. Knocked on a few doors." "Anything I need to know about the boss?" "He's all right. He might think you're a bit underdressed, but he won't piss you about." She took a fast slurp of tea. "Come on, I'll take you up." Thorne followed Treasure up the stairs and along a carpeted corridor to the part of the station where CID was based, a nest of small offices and an open-plan incident room. He asked her if she'd be around when he'd finished, but she told him she was keen to get away. There was a hot body waiting for her in Tufnell Park. They stopped outside the detective superintendent's office. "What about a wedding present?" Thorne asked. "You don't have to." "Oh, all right then, I won't." Treasure punched him again, but not as hard this time. "I'll send you a link to the wedding list." Thorne shook his head. "You've definitely got a lot fancier since you moved up here. John Lewis, is it? Harrods?" Treasure grinned and turned to walk away. "Liddle," she said. Thorne understood the nickname and Treasure's remark about clothes before he'd even sat down in Simon Fulton's office. The man was as bald as an egg, and the care he'd taken over the rest of his appearance led Thorne to guess that, lack of hair-wise, he had made the decision to jump before he was pushed. He did not look like the kind of man who would be able to live with a comb over, but then Thorne could never understand anyone who did. Fulton's dove-grey suit was not off any peg Thorne could afford. The white shirt was pristine, and if he hadn't had his teeth straightened...